Hi guys, Clara here, and today I want to try something a little bit different, and I'll be testing out this new method with tiny houses. I'm starting off with a rough cube shape, and then I'm placing that in the freezer for 15 minutes. This way when I take the clay out of the freezer, it'll have an easier time keeping its shape when I'm slicing off the edges to create sharp corners. Otherwise the blade mostly ends up squishing the clay down instead of cutting through it. Once I have 4 sharp corners, I'm cutting 2 angled cuts for the roof, and then using a flat silicone tool to indent a door. I also wanted to make indents for the windows, and I figured this square screw bit would be the perfect size. Once all the indents are in place, I'm filling each indent with a small square of blue clay for the glass. I used the bit to press it down further, and then the flat silicone tool to smooth out the edges. I also decided I didn't want a square door with all these square windows, so I found this little piece for my trunk drawer to make more of an arched doorway. I then just filled that with a little piece of brown clay and cut off the excess. Now we can fill all of our indents with the blue glass and add a little bit of texture to the wooden door. For the roof, I'm rolling out a ball of brown clay, then I'm placing the house on top, roof first, to see where I need to cut to get a nice overhang. I'm just adding a little bit of liquid clay before I attach it. Press it in place and pinch the peak into shape. And if you're feeling extra, you can add a little bit of detail on the roof for the shingles. I'm always feeling extra. Now you could leave it here, or you can add a chimney. For that, I'm just rolling out a little bit of gray clay, pressing it roughly into a rectangle shape, and then adding some brick texture with my blade. I then cut it to size with an angle at the bottom so it fits neatly on the top of the roof. Add a little indent on the top of the chimney, and this thing is ready for the oven. But first, let's make another house. I figured it wouldn't hurt to try out a new method to see if I like this any better. Even though we are sculpting most of the same details, using one color of clay greatly reduces the complexity of this. I also just happen to have like a buttload of this light green clay, and I really don't know what else to do with it. Serves me right for trying to mix my colors in bulk. And I don't know if you noticed, but I got lazier with this second sculpt, because I didn't feel like walking all the way to the freezer and then waiting 15 minutes. So yeah, at least you can see the difference between putting your clay in the freezer before cutting versus cutting it as is. Your houses are going to look a lot more squished, and the corners aren't going to be as sharp. So I guess decide which look you prefer and follow those steps. And also because I couldn't help myself, I made a second version of our first mini house. I don't think I mentioned that we're painting this yet. Yeah, I don't expect you to have a full greenhouse at the end of this. I'm just using basic craft paint that you can find at the dollar store. It's very watery and you're going to use a lot of layers. So if you have access to good paints, use those instead. Now is where it gets a bit questionable in my methods. My thinking was I would just choose a neutral brown base for the entire house because there's no way I'm keeping inside the lines for the roof and the windows and all that. After both of the houses have a brown base coat, I'm going over the chimneys on each of them with black. I'm then going to go over and dry brush them with some gray. For the smaller chimney, I didn't add any texture because I forgot, but let's just say it's because I wanted to try painting on the stone instead. And I'm using a toothpick to draw on these designs, so no paintbrushes required for this. And honestly, the roof is the only thing that I should have been painting brown. Though I mean, either way you need to paint the whole house. I think I just would have picked a different base color. Or I don't know, maybe I do the same thing again. And I ended up making a bit of a mess on the rest of the house, so I just cleaned up the lines with some more brown paint. Because this house needs more layers of paint, apparently. For the other house, I wanted to try out a different color, so this time I picked blue. Now here is where I was also regretting the brown base color. It would have made more sense to paint this roof dark blue, so I ended up adding a dark blue wash on the entire roof, and then I let that dry. And then I still lightly dry brushed on a light blue as a highlight. I also cleaned up the edges on this house because why not add more brown paint? Okay, so I'm making like a lot of dumb decisions with these houses, and these windows were like the dumbest one. But anyway, even if you don't have a mini paintbrush, you just take your window color and you paint a giant blob. And once you add 15 layers of this very cheap watery paint, use your base color to clean up the lines. I'm telling you, this one was a dud. But I'm really happy I made the other house, because at least that one turned out halfway nice. I wanted this house to be teal, since I'm kind of obsessed with it. but I thought I'd try a more watered down version and it would just look rustic, but it just looked like garbage. So I ended up having to do like 5 layers of this. It's just this color specifically has a very watery formula. I was also kicking myself at this point for painting the windows first. Because why? Why would I do that? I don't know. I thought it would be easier. I thought it'd be easier to like paint around them than to try and paint them later. Now I did do the windows the same on the other house, but I also had a better plan for this one. Since I chose a color that would work with the brown base color. And I just stippled that on. And I did try to avoid the windows, but at some point I just realized that these windows were getting dirty. And then it was time to bring back some of that darkness. So I stippled on some brown, and I watered that down so there wouldn't be too many harsh lines. And I dabbed away any excess water and picked up a little bit of color with it. Now, try not to laugh at me, but I was really trying to stick to my guns on this and go with my original plan of dirtying up the corners and making this look like a rustic house. And the first side looked so bad, but I thought it was just because it was only one side that looked like that. So I just did it to all the other sides. And wouldn't you know it, it looks bad. And so I'm probably on like coat number 12 of paint. And you've seen enough of this. So I just fixed it up on my own time. And apparently I've added window panes. I do like how they turned out. But here's hoping the next one looks better. I just quickly went over the windows again to tidy them up. Now for this door, I'm just painting it with a brown base, then mixing up a darker and a lighter brown and adding some streaks for the wood grain. Then I just mix up a really light brown and add a little dot for the handle. But this house just didn't look right without any window panes. And I didn't show it with the first house because I was trying to make it look good and I need to hold it 3 inches away from my face to do so. But I figured I'd try and film some of it for you, so at least someone can appreciate the work that goes into painting these tiny, tiny windows. And yes, these tiny lines did take me 20 minutes. What of it? And now that both of these houses were painted, this one is just looking way too bare. So I thought I'd just do the minimum and add a bit of a dark wash to the roof and a black wash to the chimney. That way it'd at least have a little bit of dimension. And the difference is subtle, but I think it looks a bit better. And for a finishing touch, I'm just adding a little black dot for the top of the chimney. So yeah, these are my painted houses. And my boring clay house. I do like both types, and I think depending on the look you are going for, either one would be a good choice. Plus it also depends on how much you actually like working with clay. Or if you only have access to air dry clay, knowing how to paint the details you want is really useful. So I really hope you learn that from someone else. But all in all, I think I do like painting clay. And I think it'd come in handy in the future too. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know if you want me to make anything else, clay or otherwise. I'm open to suggestions. But other than that, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye!